Plants, the living and growing vegetation that inhabit many of our homes and bring a much needed change of color during these bleak, dreary days of winter. On the days when it feels like winter's chilly death grip settles on everything, making even the warmth of my blood seem to grow cold, the bright green of these cheerful, silent shrubs brings me an immense amount of joy and longing for brighter, warmer days. I sometimes look out my window, dismayed by the lack of green on the branches that now sway in the slightest breeze, naked and sickly, as if I'm looking at the bare bones of an animal that used to be full of life. But as my gaze turns back indoors, hope returns as I behold the green leaves that grace my tables, bookshelves, and other surfaces throughout the house. It brings me sheer delight to observe the minuscule leaves emerging from the main branches, their bright green a contrast to the darker, more mature growth beneath it. The different shapes of the leaves, some with soft, rounded tips, other in the shape of a beautiful heart, never cease to amaze my profoundly simple mind. With all the comfort and joy that these simple plants bring me, one would think the utmost care and attention is needed for them to thrive. And, for some plants, that would be a correct assumption. But for others, mainly the ones that I possess, they are in fact quite simple to care for. Over the years, I have progressively gotten better at caring for plants. I used to, unfortunately and unintentionally, kill almost every plant that I received. But I have learned, from careful gleaning on the internet's vast array of information, how to best tend to those plants in my care. In the past, when I could see that a plant was starting to look sickly, I would begin frantically searching Google to see how to revive or at least preserve it. I would try everything that was suggested, but in the end, many times it still died. And while I would like to think that the reason most of my plants have survived this long is because I have finally learned how to properly care for them, I am quite aware that a lot of the health of a plant is left up to chance. Yes, there are definitely ways to increase its chances of survival, and even ways to encourage it to thrive. But in the end, there is no way to actually prevent it from dying. You can read all the books, talk to all the professionals, give it all the right food and fertilizers, give it the proper amount of sunlight and correct amount of water, and do everything just right. But in the end, all you can do is take a step back and wait. Wait to see if your efforts paid off and if it survived, or if it succumbs to death. I've learned many things from each plant that has died in my care. Some of them needed more humidity, something that is rather hard to come by, especially during these long, dry winters in Saskatchewan. Some needed better drainage. Still others needed less watering. But with each plant that died in my possession, my learning increased. But so also did my grip on control loosen. Even with the first plant that I repotted in this video, I'm concerned that I damaged the roots too much and that I repotted it in too large of a pot. I worry over the health of my plants, but in the end all I can do is trust that I have done my best with the knowledge I have available to me and wait. I not only have to let go of control when it comes to caring for plants, but I also need to be patient. I so often want to see how things will turn out right this instant. I don't want to wait. I want to know that my plants are succeeding by seeing new growth right away, or when I propagate them, I want to see some roots the next day. But that is rarely the case. I usually have to wait for weeks, if not months, to see any positive results. Patience has never been a strong suit for myself, especially when it comes to inanimate objects. I didn't realize the different quality traits that I would develop from something as ordinary as caring for plants. But then again, I think that tends to happen with the simple things in life. It's the smaller things, the occurrences we deal with on a daily basis that truly shape us. I kinda look at the bigger challenges that we face in life to be a test that allows us to practice all the things we learned from the smaller challenges we face daily. And I find that encouraging, knowing that the choices I make today, if they are good choices, can lead to better outcomes in the future when I have to face a larger problem. So, my friend, take heart through the small challenges that life presents you this week. Whether it's practicing patience or letting go of something out of your control, know that you will see the fruit of your labor. So, go and make the best out of every situation that is before you today.